Wow, what a night. A lot of drama for a dud day. Maybe I should stop saying they're dud days. Okay, in the beginning of the day, we did have kind of a dud. I mean, Ali was not a big deal there. Aggie Wadwanska, though, Tora Flor really showed a lot of game the second set. Can really smack the ball and has a lot of feel and a lot of game. But couldn't quite get over the hump and get that second set. Kevin Anderson was basically taking care of Brands like I said he would. I mean, Brands did take a set, but Anderson's more proficient on the hard court. Coco couldn't even get a set, but Navarro was just so good. But that was the best match probably early on. That was fun. And Coco did a great job, and she kept her cool even after she lost the first set. Mentally, she kept her cool. Physically, kept the ball, even though they were in the pit and it was so humid, she was handling the humidity well. Just Navarro was just a little bit better and got enough balls back that made Coco make some errors. That was all. DeVarman and Lacko were battling it out. Of course, DeVarman won the first set. It was close. He wasn't really that stiff to start. He was doing well. And then Lacko, I'm sorry. He was a little stiff to start. And Lacko took over, and then Lacko won the first set, and then Lacko disappeared. Lost the next two sets like 2-1. It was incredible before the rain started coming. So that's typical Lacko for you these days. Baghdadis actually looked pretty decent. Gosueda fought for a little while, but he was looking fatigued, and then he got really fatigued. Yuzhny took care of Mahut. It was three tough sets, but he took care of them. Dogopolov, three tough sets, took care of Goffin. Pavlyuchenkova had one tough set, and then Barty kind of pooped out. So that's kind of what was happening during the day. And then the rain started, and the rain stayed until about 6 o'clock at night. So it looked like at one point we may not get any more matches in, but then they started up again. One of them was Del Potro and Garcia Lopez, and this turned into a crazy match, with Lopez almost taking it to a fifth set, but got it to a fourth-set tiebreaker, then lost in a close one. There was controversy on calls. Lopez was really upset about some things, and whatever. In the end, Potro just really needed to wake up a little quicker. The rain and everything had him sleepy. And Garcia Lopez played really great. I mean, he does this. He's beaten Nadal. He'll just explode at any time. But then he had injuries, and he always does that too. Anyway, and then what else? Oh, Zhang Ji and Venus Williams turned into just a wild match. Zhang Ji has missed so much time with some illnesses again, but she did get some good hard court play in Canada and Cincinnati, and she was ready to go, and she looked much better than I expected. Jumped on Venus right away with a break, and Venus couldn't get it back. And then the second set, Zhang Ji got a little tired. Her level came down a bit, and Venus took it. But the third set, Zhang Ji raised her level back up. Venus was going full blast. Some of that Venus, fatigue was coming in, but she fought the fatigue and we had a teeny bit of a rain delay, and Venus looked pretty good, actually. And so in the end of the match, it went down. I think Venus was down a break. Zhang Ji was playing out of her mind, to be honest. She was serving for the match, got a little tight. Venus did an incredible job on. Then when Venus had that was at 4-5. She broke back at 5-all, and then at 5-6, Venus serving, she had this really long rally, and you're like, oh, she's gonna fall because she's gonna be fatigued. But she just put her heart in there, and she won it. She won the rally. It was amazing. Everybody was going crazy. And they got to the tie break, and Venus had her chances, but I think it was 5-all, she put an easy backhand volley into the net, and she was so disappointed at 6-5 Zhang Ji serving, with an easy return to serve, and Venus just hit it out. So it was a real disappointing end. Just a little being out of match practice, just not having enough matches. I mean, Zhang Ji hasn't had many either, but had a little bit more than Venus, and that was pretty much the difference, if you ask me. But the good news is Venus's back seems pretty good, and she does have the disease. She gets a little bit tired, but it looks a lot better than it did before. So maybe she can still get some things done yet, maybe. But she needs to stay on the court for a little bit of time and get some practice, some match practice. Kevin Anderson ended up beating Brands. Hewitt and Baker started having a real long match themselves, and this was, this was at night. And when they came back out, when they were playing into the night, it was a humidity. It was real slow, heavy air. And Hewitt and Baker. Now the ball's lively, but it is a big ball with a lot of felt. So that slow, heavy air. Hewitt and Baker had a lot of breaks back and forth, but Hewitt finally came on top just because he's just had a better year. He's in better, just like the problem with Venus, same as Brian Baker. He hasn't had enough matches. Smizik and Duckworth had a great one. Smizik finally pulled it out in 4 sets. Duckworth just looked a little worn down by the third set. And that's what I said after Lexington this year. He's just looked worn out. Whereas Smizik played a lot of tennis, but he looked a little bit better shape. And these courts suit him, and he's in front of the crowd and everything. Devarman came when they came. They had Lacko got his second wind after the rain delay, so he got the fourth set. And after that, he immediately looked like he was breathing hard again, struggling in the fifth. Devarman went up a break. Lacko broke back because Devarman's really tired. He's played a lot of tennis. They go near the end of the match, and then Devarman breaks and serves out for the match, like 6-4 or something. So, and you can say again, Lacko's not trying, but he looks like he can't breathe. He looks tired. I don't think it's just a mental thing. I really don't. Anyways, fighting by Devarman. He is tired, but he's fighting. Baghdadis beat Sueda. Garcia really fought hard. Laura Robson, they went to like 5-all, I think, and then Robson broke her at 6-5 for the set. And then they went late in the next set, and they got to a tie. Then Robson was serving for it, I think, and Caroline broke back. And then they went to a tie break, and I think Caroline was up and then blew it. She got up the mini break and then lost a bunch of points. And then I think she was up 2-zip in the tie break, Caroline Garcia. Robson won 6 straight points, was up 6-2, had 4 match points. Garcia got 3 of them back, and then at 5, and actually played 3 great points, and then at 5-6, chunked it again. So she just needs to just get more experience. She's just choking on the big points right now. That's all. She really could have had this match. Now, Robson had one little MTO for her wrist, but she looked okay. Wawrinka looked way better. He took 3 straight sets. They were tough, but the surface just was more conducive to Wawrinka's power. Stepanek trying to rush the net. It wasn't working. He's a little bit out of form. But Wawrinka, yeah, he stunk it up at the hard courts this year. But you know what? He was resting his back is what he was doing. And he's raised his game level now. Okay, the rest of these didn't get on court. Golzowick did defeat Sisling. What was the score there? Let me get score lines here. Sorry about that. 7-6, 2-6, 6-4. I forgot about the score lines. Or 6-1, 6-4, 6-1. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty predictable. Sisling's been having a bad time. Dagopolov, like I said, beat Goffin. Leonardo Meyer, his aggression did work. 7-6, 6-4, had a little letdown. 7-6, he took the tie breaks. That's aggression. These balls lend towards aggressiveness. Pavlyuchenkova there through a match with Barty. Seppi, 6-3, 3-6. What did that end up? 7-5, 7-5 with Malise. So that's pretty much exactly what I thought, actually. Granolas, how'd he turn out? Oh, he won. Unbelievable. I never did see. That was on court 8. Granola bar. I mean, Zop's in no form. He's in horrible form, yet he gives up 2 sets there. But he comes back and wins. That's typical Granolas. Okay, so that's the wrap. So look, I missed a big one. This was on court 10. Donskoy, I was right. He beat Meltzer. I didn't know it would be 3 straight sets, but yeah, Meltzer's victory, like I said, at Winston-Salem was a little overrated. And Donskoy found some form a couple weeks ago. So I had a feeling Meltzer maybe have a little letdown. So a lot of my picks were good today. Let's go back up some other things we missed here. Get back to the TV courts. Kanepi. That's going to go tomorrow. Rained out. A lot of the women were rained out here. That will make a difference as they're waiting around till tomorrow. But that gives Nara an extra day, so that's good against Kristea. Let's see. Did I miss any here? This was a great one on court 13 after the Lacko. Bogmalov and Pair. 7-5, 2-6, 6-4, 5-7, 7-6 Bogmalov. And Pair was serving for the match at 6-5. Bogmalov got it to a tiebreak. Jumped up in front, got it up to 6-3. Pair threw down 2 easy aces for 5-6, and then Bogmalov. Then he threw a backhand or forehand error to lose 7-5 in the tiebreak. Crowd was going crazy. It went late into the night. Pair was finally fired up. He wasn't fired up for a lot of the match. He's got physical issues again, but he got fired up at the end. And then Bogmalov shut him down anyway. Bogmalov's playing his best he's played in a while, so great match. These courts suit Bogmalov, plus Per hasn't been in any form at all. And here's the big one. Ram beats Fognini 1-2 and 2. I said he'd take at least a set. I didn't know he'd win. It was kind of like the Duvall match. I knew it'd be a problem, but I don't know what's going on with Fognini. He didn't seem injured, but wow. I don't know what else to say. I'm going to have to try to find something out. He's got to be injured, right? Maybe not. Ram now plays off the back of the court a little bit. Then he can quickly hit an ace or hit a good volley. He mixes it up really well now. He's learned how to do that. But he needs the right courts. Plexi cushion, plexi pave, not really going to work that well, especially the plexi cushion. Slower hard courts aren't going to work that well. Clay isn't going to work at all. Grass could work, but I don't know why he didn't do good on the grass this year. Actually, I think it was slippery this year. And Ram isn't doing the volleying as much anymore, the serve and volley, so I think that hurt him. But here it was perfect. His new way is hanging out on the baseline, a lot of defense. In fact, he had less errors than Fognini and less winners, but he had more volleys, a lot more volleys, and more aces. See, it's a very strange mix. So he's hanging out on defense more than Fognini, but he's coming to the net and doing serves. So, interesting. This was Hewitt. Hewitt ended up beating Baker 6-3, 4-6, 6-3, 6-4. That looks like a mellow score. It was not. It was a hard-fought every single point. Baker's just a little out of form. And then Hampton, a great match. This was tight. 7-5, 6-4. She got breaks late. She actually was serving for the first set at 5-3. Magdanovic got her back, but then she broke again. Magdanovic's just a little out of form. Got a little wrap on her leg. She's really offensive. But this court's all-around court, and Hampton was able to do offense and defense and beat her. Bouchard and Kerber go off tomorrow. And last but not least, unbelievable on the Armstrong. We had, after the Venus-Williams epic, we had James Blake and Karlovic, and look at this. Blake wins the first set 7-6. Actually, Karlovic broke Blake to start, then Blake broke back. And then in the tiebreak, he killed him. And then he got the early break in the second set and held on the whole way. And then Karlovic got the break midway through the third, where Blake just got tired and had a letdown. And then Karlovic held on, and he started picking it up. So he was a little sleepy to start. Then he picked it up. The crowd was getting rowdy. There were some crazy people rooting for Karlovic, and then the rest of the crowd was rooting for Blake. My buddy was there, Morgan. But then they went to the tie break in the third set. And this looked like, I think Blake was down a break and got it back. And then they had the tie break, but then Karlovic just took over that tie break. Then he took over the last tie break too. So Karlovic played really well at the end. I'm surprised he didn't get a little more nervous. More than anything, Blake looked really tired. He really looked tired. He fought as hard as he could. One point in that last tiebreak, he even dove on the ground. But it was an incredible farewell speech at the end as well. And then last but not least, they put this match on a lot. ESPN's got to stop doing this. I mean, Murray and Lodra. It was a joke. Lodra was up a break in the second set, then lost it right away. And they would put that on instead of the Blake, Karlovic, and then the Bogmalov they didn't even put on at all. I know it's Murray, but who cares if it's not a good match, in my opinion. And then last but not least, Sloane Stephens, and believe it or not, a breadstick over Wadwanska. But Wadwanska had wrapping on her shoulder, and she really wore herself out this summer, which was my guess that's what happened. I think if Sloane had to play tomorrow, it would have been worse, but it was nice she got her match in tonight. She was way better today. So that's the wrap of day 3.